Did you watch it? Did you see it? Yeah.
Amazing.
It was amazing.
Amazing.
No one expected that, did they?
No.
No
I
one
think the
expected
worry...
that.
No, not that performance,
No.
result.
You know,
I thought it was a better... I actually thought it suited him playing Real more than Atletico. I think I had a strange thing Atletico would have been a tougher game for Arsenal.
I think everybody wrote... Because you look at them to a man, I think everybody played well. And I think when you're playing that calibre of opposition, everybody has to play well. But I think Kivio, thought he done well. Obviously, the goalkeeper. I think Partey...
We'll get back to Keane, Righty, and Nev in just a quick second, but remember, if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. And don't forget to click the notification button so that you know when the next Big D Talks football video hits. And as ever, if something is on your mind, if something is bubbling up inside of you that you need to express, please express it in the comments. The Big D reads all of the comments and he's always interested in what is on your mind. Anyway, in this little clip, it's a little clip from the overlap, and it's going to be Keane, Nev and Righty talking about Arsenal's amazing performance against Real Madrid in the Champions League. And well, I'll tell you what, you just have a little look at the clip, stick around for after the clip, because the Big D is going to be giving his thoughts on that match and what could potentially happen in the second leg. Here they are.
Martinelli turned, and then obviously Saka like 50% fit.
Saka was amazing.
Obviously, yeah, but the thing is, you're coming to like
Arsenal.
The work rate and the mentality. And this is what the manager's always going on about: is the group and the mentality and the strength. And they had to show it in that game. But what I thought with Real Madrid is that there was a couple of times where I thought they played it well. They kept it quite quiet because the crowd were going off it in that place, and they kept it quiet. And then Mbappe missed that chance where Jude put him. See that chance? Yeah. That changed everything.
But Arsenal kind of risked it right. There was times where Arsenal obviously pressed them and they knew they'd get past them a few times. Yeah. But what a proper, brilliant European performance.
For the first time in ages, I felt like I was really enjoying watching a game of football. Like, it was
nearly as good as the United City game.
You know, the thing with it is, Gal, is that what's good about Real Madrid, and even now, you know what I mean? It's very exciting.
Do you think it's over? Are you saying it's over?
No, you never... With them, especially with them, I know that they've...
I think it's over.
No, I do.
You know what? Of course you're not going to say that, so that if I say, yeah, me too, and then, God forbid we lose,
but defensively...
they've never come back from a 3-0 in the first leg. Right. They've never done that, so hopefully we're not the first. Yeah.
And Arsenal defence. Arsenal get a goal over there.
Right, it's the one team, though, innit, that if something's going to happen...
They score early.
If you score a goal, it's like...
They've got players who can score a hat-trick in 2-3 minutes, you know. And like I say, Kivio played very, very well, and then it's a different situation when he goes over there and the protection that he's going to get and who's going to... But, like, that's what it's about, surely, at that stage. I know that we went there and we had some players missing, but Saka, like I say, is 50% fit. And I didn't expect it to go like it did. Obviously, we've scored 2 goals from 2 free kicks.
Oh,
like
they were amazing.
But in the first half, a couple of crosses from Saka. Again, you needed that person to put them in. Martinelli, couple of crosses, you know.
I was thinking that last night. Do you think that, I mean, obviously Arsenal have to go on and win it for Declan Rice to be thought like, but your game in Turin, which always gets played back to you, I know sometimes you dispute it, do you think that game will be Declan Rice's one of his...
if they kick on,
kick on and win it. That'll be like a game defining.
Huge. Big. I think it was a huge performance for the club, for the supporters, for the players, for the manager, because there's always still been a bit of doubt about Arsenal over the last few years. But last night again, I think so. It has to be. Yeah. And they scored 3 goals, clean sheet. The energy in the team, the quality, the composure. Nice. I thought it was everything you needed that you'd want from... I was watching home and I was sitting there like begrudgingly going...
Yeah?
No, I thought, listen, give credit where it's due. I thought they were absolutely
You know the thing
amazing.
with Saka as well, he had to do an interview before and like all the press. Can you imagine how frustrating it is for him? He's half fit and he's going in to play Real Madrid and all they're talking about is, so where do you see yourself? You know, you got Rodrigo, you got Vinicius, you got... And like, he answered it very, very well, but you can see that he's a bit pissed off with that question because, again, yesterday he's up against those guys and he was, by far, for me, the best winger.
Just something right here,
him and Martinelli.
We'll come on to it later, but the beautiful thing about Saka is he's never lost his enthusiasm and his happiness and his sort of the thrill of every time he gets it, he feels like he's still playing as a kid. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? From the moment he's come in to the moment now, he's not changed.
And you know, this break, I think the last few months might be...
Well, sometimes
it happens. Listen, we've been on about the last few years. He rarely misses a game. Yeah. There's pressure on him at Arsenal to produce week in, week out for such a relatively young player. The England squad, pressures with that, the ups and downs with England. So that break, I think the last 3 or 4 months, probably would have actually done him a world of good.
Yeah.
I think Fabregas did an interview before and he was saying that he doesn't think you've seen the Declan Rice that was at West Ham. But when I was watching it, I totally disagreed with him. I think Declan Rice has been brilliant for Arsenal, even before that performance yesterday. And I was just so happy from when that first one went in. And then he put the ball down for the second was...
It's a brilliant...
But Declan has... We've always said it for years on here, or when we've been discussing him, he has got that technique.
Yeah.
He's got great technique in terms of striking the ball, whether in general play or a dead ball. Of course, he's doing the set pieces. So the 2 goals last night, I wasn't that shocked that he was able to do it. I think he's got that in his locker, but do it in such a big occasion.
Yeah.
Particularly the second one. I think the wall and the goalkeeper for the first one. The goalkeeper's got to do better.
The keeper should have got that.
For the wall. He's got to do better. He's got to have another man in.
Valverde.
I know he's jumping. You still have another man just to cover you, because you know he's a right footer. You could even see the set piece coach going, it's kind of on here for the whip.
I remember with David Moyes.
The second one was fantastic.
Fantastic. It went right in the corner. I've got a picture of it right in the corner. I remember David Moyes saying about, we haven't got enough for him. Remember he saying he wanted 150 for him. And I know now we could all jump back and say, yeah, David Moyes was right. But since Declan's been at Arsenal from the time he's been there, he's made that fee look embarrassing.
But what will help any midfield player? We were chatting about the other day about De Bruyne, Gerrard. If Rice can just add, and if he's playing higher up the pitch and start getting more goals, listen, he's a brilliant player. He'll go even to another level. He'll be up there when you're discussing the kind of great players. And I think, as I said, he has it in his locker. He's got a great technique.
Even without the goals, his output.
But that adds to it.
His work rate.
The goals add to it.
Yeah.
If you throw the goals in on top of it,
I agree.
It's...
Miles as well. Package. Miles Lewis-Skelly going into a game. I think he's 17, 18 games in to his career, and he's playing in that midfield against Modric and Bellingham and that, and he's...
Bellingham's quiet, wasn't he?
But then Roy, he's quiet. But then the one bit of
the pass
into
through.
Power,
that's what they do. That's what they do, and that's what you have to. That's how they punish you. Then all of a sudden, you think, oh no, see, one of them's going to do something.
Yeah, but at this level, righty, at this stage of the competition, all teams will have. You'll always be under pressure. There'll always be someone that will put you through. But for Arsenal to got 3 goals, and Arsenal are more than capable of going over there, they probably should have scored 1 or 2 from set pieces in the first half. They've gotten lucky. So if they can score from a set piece over there.
Courtois was probably...
Can they win it, do you think? Do you think they can win it?
They play Aston Villa or... Well, they play Aston Villa or PSG, wouldn't they, in the semi if they got through? But
tough game is the semi.
What does he do this weekend with this league game that he's got coming up? Does he completely and utterly rest the whole team, or does he go and... What's he do with the likes of Saka, Rice, obviously Saliba, the ones that he can't afford to lose, really, before...
It's an interesting one with Saka, because again, he went back from injury. He's just come back from injury. Does he play again?
Who have they got the weekend?
Brentford.
That's a tough one.
Oh.
If I was Arsenal, or if I was an Arsenal fan, I would be very wary indeed for that second leg. That second leg is going to be an absolute goal fest. Mark the Big D's words. Because just looking at that game with Arsenal in the first leg, Arsenal Real Madrid, I couldn't help but think that Arsenal were playing out of their skin. They were playing at their full maximum potential, right, as a team. And they took they scored some good goals. In fact, all 3 goals were amazing. Declan Rice's free kicks were out of this world. He certainly has kicked on as a player. Credit where credit's due. But Real Madrid, they just seemed half-arsed, really. It's almost like they were struggling to sort of motivate themselves to play because they were playing against Arsenal. And, on paper, Real Madrid's team is like 3 times as good as Arsenal on paper, right? Now, when you've got a big team, especially a big team that plays attacking football, that can sometimes, leave itself open at the back, say, they can get caught out if they're just playing at maybe 65% of their own capacity. And that's what it felt like. It felt like Real Madrid turned up at the Emirates and felt as though that they could just half-arse it and get a 0-0 or a 1-1 or maybe even nick a win. Obviously, Arsenal were bang up for it and they smashed them 3-0. But that's going to wake up that sleeping giant. big time. And are you telling me a forward line of Kylian Mbappe, Jude Bellingham, Rodrigo and Vinicius Jr. can't put 4 goals past Arsenal? At the Bernabeu, Arsenal are going to get absolutely bent over and pumped at the Bernabeu. I'm really looking forward to that game, to be honest. I mean, do I want to see Arsenal beat them? I'm not really bothered, to be honest. Either way, I'm not really bothered. I mean, I do like to see the best teams win, but Real Madrid have won so many Champions Leagues lately. It's like, give someone else a shout there. But I fancy it'll be a good game because Real Madrid cannot afford to rest on their laurels on this one. The Champions League is their tournament. That they're obviously the most successful side in European Cup / Champions League history. And I don't know. I just can't help but feel that Arsenal are going to get absolutely battered at the Bernabeu. That's what it feels like, and I feel as though Arsenal's game against Real Madrid, they've peaked. That was their peak. And sometimes, see, the thing is, when you're a successful side, if a good side is going to have a successful season, the team needs to peak, like almost time its peak, like in May, when it's the business end of the season. So like in the semi-final or the final. Because that's what United used to always do. United used to always peak back end of April, going into May, when we used to win the league on a regular basis. But Arsenal, with the injuries that they've had and all of that, it just feels as though that they've peaked just a tiny bit too early in this instance. I don't think they've got enough quality to beat Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. I really don't. I mean, 2 of their goals came from a defensive midfielder. You know, if they had someone up front like an Mbappe or like an Osimhen, say, who's a 30-goal season striker, who's deadly, that the other team need to worry about, then fair enough. But I just can't see it. I can't see it. I just feel as though that result that they had against Real Madrid was based more on timing than anything else. But anyway, that's just what the Big D feels. I mean, feel free to disagree. If you think I'm talking nonsense, that's fine. Put it in the comments. Tell me I'm talking nonsense. But you cannot write a team like Real Madrid off in the Champions League, especially when they've got players like Mbappe who can bag a hat-trick in a World Cup final. You're telling me he can't bag an hat-trick against Arsenal in a second leg of the knockout stages of the Champions League? I mean, it's going to be really interesting to watch this second leg. Really interesting indeed. But please, thoughts in the comments, and the Big D will see you in the next one.